Pastores tabo vobis, juxta comerum.
I'm standing in the sanctuary here in the main chapel of St. Peter's Seminary. This sanctuary resembles in many ways the sanctuary where you come each Sunday to worship with your parish community in your own parish church. Imagine, if you would, what it would be like if when you came to church on Sunday, you had to wade through a number of booths and tables that had been set up by merchants and exchange currency dealers that would give you the materials that you would need to then enter into the sanctuary to give worship to God that you had brought with you, to give praise for all that God had done for you through that week. Well, that is precisely what Jesus encountered when he came to the temple on the Sabbath. He came to give worship to his Father together with his people of the Jewish faith, and there he found money changers, those who were selling the paraphernalia that was needed for the sake of worship in the temple, and they were charging exorbitant interest rates for the exchange of currency, high prices for turtle doves, pigeons, lambs that were needed in the exercise of worship in the temple. Jesus became irate at what he had seen, because he said to the people, "You have turned this house of prayer into a den of thieves." What is a thief? A thief is one who takes what rightly belongs to another and uses it for his or her own gain. That's precisely what Jesus saw these temple money changers, merchants were doing, that they were taking advantage of the people who had the right intentions of bringing to God their worship and using it for their own profit, their own gain. Commentators looking back on that time of Jesus say that those money changers made a profit annually of close to $20,000 Canadian currency. If you think about what that translated into the livelihood of people back in Jesus' day, 2,000 years ago, that was a huge amount of money that these money changers made at the expense of ordinary people that came to give worship to God. What can we learn from that experience that Jesus had of being irate at this injustice that he saw in the temple? Well, what we learn for ourselves, as Jesus teaches us, is that we always have to be motivated that our prayer must be in equilibrium with a sense of justice with God's people. That we always allow our prayer to move us to treat people with respect, with fairness, to never use people for our own personal gain, for our own personal profits. Pope John Paul II, in his encyclical on human work, identifies that we need to maintain priorities in our lives. That in the workplace, that the needs of labor always comes before that of profit. That those who manage, those who supervise the means of labor always have to provide for the needs of those who are producing the ends of the workforce. And that they are not concerned just simply about their own profit, their own gain. Also, John Paul II says that there is an important priority that people always take precedence to progress in our world, and that we shouldn't be pushing forward more and more to get all the wonders of technology for ourselves, while leaving some people in our world further and further behind in widening that gap between those who have in our world and those who have not. What we can learn for ourselves in our own personal daily journey is that important link between our prayer, our worship of God, and the ways that we serve our brothers and sisters with justice and equity. That our prayer is to logically flow out to treating each person with the respect, the dignity that is due to them. And as Jesus says, whatever we do to the least of our sisters and brothers, we do to him.